But we sometimes feel the need to almost convince others why we're doing something that they also need to be convinced, right? I was having a conversation with one of my friends today about, the Peloton and working out. And she shared that she, was not, she left the gym, is doing the Peloton full time. She has the bike, the rower, the tread, all that kind of stuff. I just have the Peloton. And one of the things that it felt like, and I could be wrong, right? But it felt like she was trying to convince me like why the gym is no longer good. All right. And I'm like, I love the gym, right? And I love my Peloton. But she showed me her perfect streak where she had done like 84 weeks in a
I
row.
know
And
exactly what you're talking about because I have the Peloton app, on my cheap Amazon bike. But yes, I know the streak.
yes. So that's like my coach only has me doing it like once or twice a week. So I'm like, I won't have that streak. Cause you like your coach. I was like, yeah, I do some
Yeah.
aspect of like natural bodybuilding. And one of the things I shared with her, I was like, you know what? I love that you found something that really works for you. And I didn't have to convince her why I still go to the gym or even though I felt she was trying to convince me. I thought, right? Again, it could be wrong, but I didn't have to go into it. Well, I actually go to the gym because of what I do with my muscles and protein and like, no, like, it was just like listening to her story, engaging, and then saying, I didn't need to address that. So on the other hand, there are some issues that we do need to address. And like, to your point, there's no like perfect descriptor of when to address it or when not to address it. I know if there's something that really continues to bother you, it probably is something that's worth addressing first with yourself and people that you might trust to say, how am I processing this? Is it processed in a healthy way? For me, that's been a therapist. Sometimes it's friends that, are willing to challenge me. And then also realizing that they're also free to disagree with me and that I might have perceived it wrong and I might have gotten it wrong. And so it's never to influence people to my side, right? That's not the purpose of respectful disagreement. It's to have honest conversations that allow for vulnerability, allow for deep listening, and allow for that person to be heard and valued, as well as myself to be heard and valued. But I don't control them, Monica. I can only choose how I show up. And I have that resolve in my head about like, hey, they may take this left, and I still want to practice the principles that I think will allow them to feel heard and valued, even if they don't necessarily reciprocate it in the same moment. And so it's not about everyone, about everything.
Yeah.
But it is about identifying like, hey, who really matters to me in life?